The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Sound of a bell. Did you wish your family well? Times ain't the same in the neighborhood. Got the parents all going through hell, 'cause the guns keep flying off the shelf. Do you see the man on the street just fighting for a meal to eat? You can write him off as a lunatic, but it could have been you or me if we didn't ever find our feet. Love me now, hold me down, and the government is staying on every foot, and they try to keep us all down. No, they're never gonna keep us all down. Do you see the birds in the cage on the highway working like slaves?
Good yawning this morning, and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. It is Thursday, the 15th of January, 2026, and you are on the clock with Erin, Greene, and I am just glad to be here this morning. I am my regular self, I think. Not quite sure. Had a disturbing experience on the roadway this morning. I'd like to say to that driver who was taking down my driver's license, when you go to the police, right? When you go to the police, I'm going to need you to tell the police what you was doing on the road. Okay? That's all. You tell the police how you were just innocently trying to leave the gas station. You don't know why my car was on the road blocking the entrance, along with the other hundreds of cars on the road. You tell them that you thought you had the right of way, and you don't understand why I wouldn't let you drive straight through my car. Tell them that, okay? Tell them what you said. Tell them everything. We have a really odd new crew of gangsters on the road today, gangsters in the Bahamas, the set that cry a lot. They cry a lot. They don't understand why you won't let them be gangsters, why you won't let them be their best bully self. We've got lots of those people behind the wheels of cars on the road, today and every day. But today was a particularly interesting day on the road. Caller, I see the light turn red. You ready to talk? You on the clock with Erin Greene. Good morning.
Good morning, Erin. How are you? And Happy New Year to you.
I'm good, thank you. How you doing?
My favorite radio station.
Yeah, 96.9 FM.
Yeah, I love and hate you.
Good. Look here. What else is there in this life?
But listen, you think the day will come after we have an accident on the road, we wouldn't see any of the car parts still all over the place?
Listen, and this is such a simple thing. In Britain, right? In Britain, for minor accidents, police officers' vehicles are equipped with tools, brooms, brushes, dustpans, right? Gloves, so that the police officers can clear debris from the road after an investigation has taken place to ensure that the roadways are safe.
Right.
If there's oil or contaminant spilled into the road, they send a special team out to clean it up. Go on, sir.
Because you could always tell where an accident was, because half of the debris from the car is still there.
Yep.
And I think either we need to make the record drivers clean it up or the police clean it up.
And,
pass the law, who's responsible for that?
Absolutely. And if it is the wrecker, right? If it is the wrecker, then there is a part of the fine, right, goes to the wrecker, or the wrecker's fee increases because they've taken on an extra responsibility.
Right. But they just leave all half the parts in the road, and I say, why can't somebody see this as a hazard to the drivers?
Right. Who is responsible? Is it? You see, there's an insurance company that has a response and recovery team, right?
Right.
Does that team Does that team take responsibility and clear the roadway in an accident where one of their drivers is involved?
Well, you know what I'd like for you to do? Move a motion in the House of Assembly for me
Okay.
to have that discussed, please. But they talking about every other thing besides our safety and our health.
Absolutely.
And see if we can get the MRI machine in there too, please.
Listen, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. The equitable allocation of national resources. Who makes the decision of where the money goes? Who makes the decision which sector is prioritized, right? Obviously, nobody is at the wheel, pun intended, because nobody seems to see the urgency in prioritizing road safety and traffic management. I wanted my producer to play that song for forever, but I was out of time. Why? Because I got to work later than I usually do. Why? An inordinate amount of traffic on Shirley Street this morning, and I didn't expect it because yesterday was the opening of the legal year. So I said, let me stick it out. I'm not sure if making a detour at this point will save me time. Do you know hundreds and hundreds of cars, traffic stretching back past Village Road onto the Eastern Road? And what was the cause for the delay? There's a multitude of reasons. The first is that there's a major roadwork project taking place. It exists on Shirley Street in the northern lane. There are two lanes, one on the south side of the road, one on the north side, at the Hawkins Hill intersection. Right at the Hawkins Hill intersection, Shirley Street. On the Shirley Street side, east of the light, the road is dug up. And there's a long trench stretching back maybe a quarter of a mile on Shirley Street. That exists. That's not necessarily the cause of the delay, but that exists. The cause of the delay is that drivers frustrated, right? Frustrated with slow-moving traffic, decide to move even slower, which has an exponential effect. Like it not just double or triple, but multiple times, right? An exponential effect on the flow and movement of traffic this morning. Of course, there are no road diversion signs, there are no roadwork signs. There's nothing to indicate to drivers that you should possibly take an alternate route. You could call back, caller. You can call back. Of course, we're in the news today. Lots of stories to talk about. We're in the news, but this traffic thing, let's go to the phone line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Erin. Tenna Greene.
How you do?
I'm okay.
Good,
you have
good.
no problem me calling you Tenna,
No.
because your car ain't bass. You try your best.
How you know?
Yeah, Erin, you worry about the road. You need to worry about the plane. With the states and all we be in, this visa thing being in America.
Let's clarify it. So there are two immigrant type visas. One says non-immigrant visa and one says immigrant visa, right? The majority of Bahamians who visit the U.S. visit as tourists for short-term stays. If you have a U.S. visa, you're permitted to stay up to 6 months. If you're traveling on a police record, you are permitted to stay for the duration indicated on your application. So if your ticket, when you go through, you tell them, I intend on leaving on the 17th of January, and they expect you on that flight on the 17th of January. The visa process that's been temporarily halted is the immigrant visa. That's for people who want to move to the U.S., people who want to change residency and they want to start life anew in the U.S. Those types of visas, the processing for that has been halted temporarily in 75 countries, including the Bahamas.
Erin.
Mm-hmm.
So what I mean, like, the Bahamas always had a good relationship with America, basically to travel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they pave Shirley Street, yeah.
No.
You see, that's our problem, right? Disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
This administration, the disrespect. I mean, I don't know what that boy Mitchell got going on with America, but he's causing a great hardship of Bahamians for the mere fact that, respect is a serious thing.
Now, listen, if you...
And the U.S. president today, right now, that form of disrespect, he ain't playing it.
Okay, so watch this. If you had said, Erin Greene, you're being too disrespectful. You know our cousin to the north is what we call sensitive. He has a sensitive soul. You must ease off on your public commentary about the U.S. I would say that's not an unreasonable request. But I think that the Minister of Foreign Affairs, he knows where to stick his head. And
No, I think he's sticking his head a little too far.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think so. I know so.
Okay, no, I said that because I am expecting a stronger engagement from our Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the
You
state.
want things to be worse for us?
Well, no, listen. This is what I say, and if you had told me, if you had laid that critique on me, I would have accepted it and said that's not an unreasonable thing to say.
Yeah.
But
Aaron, you know that America's President Trump, he ain't tolerating people like Fred and you all too much, you know.
say me, because Fred is very polite when it comes to foreign affairs.
Polite to see?
Hey, that's in it. Producer, hit that button. I didn't hit it. Caller, why you had to go there? That's completely and totally inappropriate. Right? It's completely.
Yeah, but hey, Erin, I do not think that it is. I don't think that he's being too hard or anything like that.
Hold on, you didn't hear the last words. There's a word that he used to describe the minister that is totally and completely inappropriate, and that is what I'm talking about. The critique in and of itself, separate from the personal attack, is reasonable to engage, but the way that he ended it was a complete and totally...
Yeah, I didn't hear him. I honestly didn't hear the word he said, but I could imagine what it was.
Yeah, just trust me.
I agree with you.
And it's a word that you can use if you use it in a positive, but if you use it to attack somebody, if you use it as a slur, it is completely and totally inappropriate.
And then it removes all your credibility.
There you go.
Do you have a personal thing, a vendetta against this person, or are you being reasonable and justified in your claims? And I think what's happening right now, we don't understand. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, this is not his first rodeo. You know, he has experience here. So I think we need to just see what happens next. I've not seen anything extreme from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to say, oh, they're going too hard on this or they aren't being friendly enough. I think, there's a standard, and I think the Bahamas has kind of been pretty fair with the standard that we've had with everything that's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not been like anything extreme at all.
The caller's latter contribution totally frames the former contribution, right? And it gives you a great sense of what he's actually trying to say, because on the surface and when you get into the book, one thing we can say about Mr. Mitchell is that he knows how to code switch, right? He knows what tone is acceptable for the Bahamian audience, and he knows what tone is acceptable for the international community, and he knows what tone the Bahamian people expect him to speak with to the international community, right? And so, like I said, if the gentleman had laid the critique at my feet, right, then I could say, it's not unreasonable to question whether Erin Greene's public commentary about international affairs has a negative impact on the country, given the current hemispheric political climate. But it's totally an unfounded critique to suggest that Mr. Mitchell, in this capacity as Minister of Foreign Affairs, is public commentary and public and professional engagement as the minister is inappropriate and is tantamount to creating a national security crisis or a foreign policy crisis with the United States of America. So we're going to just wipe that off the table. We're just going to wipe that off the table. Hi, good morning, Crystal. This is Crystal Darling Sargent joining us from the Zoom room. How you doing?
I'm good. Good morning, Erin.
Good morning. We got another caller on the line, and then we're going to get into the text and then the show. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Crystal. Okay, Erin, we are on this list, and in respect to the 75 countries.
Okay.
We haven't been doing a great job with policing our borders. And we have been giving out these citizenships like candy. without any regard as to what the rest of the world be doing in terms of tightening their borders and enforcing their visa requirements, making it more stringent. We made our own a little bit more easier. But when I look at the countries that we are on, we didn't have anything to do with this as Bahamians.
Oh, pause now. Hold on. Pause. I'm not sure if that's fair to say. I'm not sure if it's fair to say that we have nothing to do with this.
But I mean us who haven't never been elected and served as foreign affairs minister.
All right. Okay. So
I never served as no foreign affairs minister, and so.
Oh no. Hold on. Let me just clarify. So what you're saying is that this is a policy and an administrative problem. You're saying that we've arrived at this because of a policy or administrative problem and not due to the traveling or migration culture and practices of Bahamians. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, but I mean, Bahamians who we would have given citizenship to and started to travel for them to acquire a U.S. visa. We contributed to that on that level. But the point I'm trying to make is when I look at the countries that we are associated with, yes, we have some other Caribbean countries. When you're talking about Somalia, when you're talking about Russia, when you're talking about Iran, this thing becomes scary, and the U.S. have a right to do whatever they want to do. We also have a right to do what we want to do. And it appears to me, I don't know, I didn't hear the Foreign Affairs Minister make any pronouncement in reference with whether or not we can get off this list, or how do we get off this list, or did they give us some requirements that we must meet as a country? What is it that's going on there?
Okay.
Because that was a very flimsy response.
Stick a pin there. Stick a pin there, because I think that's a very interesting space to interrogate, right? Do we require a public policy, policy response from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? We want them to explain to us exactly. Hold on, let me go through it. We want them to explain to us exactly what the list is, right? Is it a temporary list? Is it a list that some country can get itself off of, right? Or is it a list created based on different criteria? I'm not getting the impression that this is a list like we could get ourselves off of. I think this is an internal policy decision by the U.S. to restrict the granting of immigrant visas until they can make a proper accounting, until they can make a full assessment of the immigrant visa process over the last 40, 50 years. That's
right. Now, I don't know how long that process will take, but the minister needs to indicate to us.
Right. That's what I was getting at.
How did we get on this list?
Well, right, because I was stepping a few steps back, because I imagine if we understand what the list is, then we'll understand why we're on it. But also, we would require a statement from the Department of State in the U.S. telling us what the list is and why we're on it.
Yeah, but I'm sure they would have forwarded that information on to our Foreign Affairs Ministry.
Maybe.
I don't think they just want to do it. See, because when you look at the size and the magnitude of that U.S. embassy on Shirley Street that many Bahamians are taking for granted and not paying attention. When you look at a 21/7 island, Erin, for the United States of America to build a embassy, a structure that is about 10 times more visible than our own government.
Structures.
They have a bigger presence in this country than the government of the Bahamas.
That's impossible. Listen, I gotta hit the button. I have other callers and texts. I have to hit the button. That's not true. That's just not true. However, hold on, Crystal. Let me make this point quickly. However, it is an extremely large embassy, right? I can get to that point in a second. Crystal, I got two more callers on the line and a group of texts. Good morning, caller.
Hello.
Hi, good morning, caller.
Yes, good day, Miss Greene. First time caller, John Ross.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes, okay. What I read with this list about the visa thing, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, according to NPR and BBC,
Mm-hmm.
we are on this list because of that welfare fraud that went down in Minnesota. You know about that, right?
I've been hearing about it.
Yes. So what they're saying is that you cannot come to the U.S. broke to say see the try to be a mooch to see public assistance or anything. You have to come with money,
Right.
to cover at least 6 months living expenses.
Every
care,
time I travel,
drugs,
they
and
ask
everything.
me. Every time I travel, they ask me, "How will you support yourself while you in the U.S.?"
Because they're saying that you have to sign, if you get in the visa now, the say permanent residency and live over there, you got to sign like a form to say how you're going to support yourself, bank account information to cover 6 months expenses.
Yeah.
So this is not a travel ban. And then you realize the new permanent residency permit called the Trump card, gold card, came online, right?
What?
Yes, so it's a thing that it's for $1 million, and you can get like permanent residency over there, basically.
Listen, you know,
It became official December 10th.
they only giving out one permanent presidency, and Trump say that one is his.
No,
But go on.
It's a permanent residency permit program now, and it's for what people who could invest $1 million. So basically, it boils down to it's not a travel ban, it's more of a tightening screening. Because Canada had it some few years back.
Yeah.
Where you don't go there broke, they seek no welfare or anything.
That's right, right. Even if you are trying to claim asylum. Even if you're trying to claim asylum.
At least 6 months saving, if family sponsorship, they got to be able to take care of you until you get on your feet. So basically, that's what it's about.
Thank you.
Because I just want to clear it up and do so that people don't go into a panic.
Right, absolutely. It's not. It's temporary. They will let us know when they're gonna lift it, and then what requirements.
Actually, it's not temporary. It's indefinite. So that they're trying to say that's a new policy that you have to come with. You have to come with monies.
Absolutely.
To support yourself. It's not like
that part has always been so. Like I was saying, I've always been asked that question when I travel to the States.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
That's because I just wanted to clear it up before people spin that out of control.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much, sir. And call back again, please.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next caller. But Crystal, the board is lit up. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning, Miss Greene. Good morning to Crystal.
Morning, morning.
Good morning.
Something clear, right, Crystal? Not just a pun with words. Listen, man. The last caller was very enlightening. I was familiar. I heard that on the news about the different models for the immigration status, et cetera, et cetera. But all that does is highlights the imbecility that goes on within our borders, whether you agree or not. Because I had a friend who went to Australia, and I've seen it on the news, et cetera, and on To Catch a Smuggler. And when people come to Australia, they run the same model. So they actually had asked the person, how much money they keep traveling with, where they're living and how they plan to, whether if you're on vacation or not. Let's say a person comes there and sometimes they do some real scrutiny. So they would know that if you're lying. So they would juxtapose the amount of money you're carrying versus your stay, and these things have to coincide. They have to be all coordinated. But it just ensured then, what I'm saying is they don't allow broke people into their country. And so the fact that we want to run a socialist state, and we see a model in which there was a lady vying for the F&M for the Angliston. She was on the radio the other day, and she said that she did some undercover thing that she ended up inside the shelters, and she found out where there's more foreigners, right, in these shelters. So what I'm saying is we're running a socialist state with the taxpayers' money, but we don't want to talk about the repercussions of these actions by filling up the country with poor migrants. Of course, we need labor, but we don't need exploitation, et cetera, and we don't need Bahamian people to be ostracized and disenfranchised and then running on about labor costs and labor this and labor that. When you yourself said that they should have a coordinated database situation with the labor board, et cetera, versus running all of these narratives. But what I'm saying, in other words, this is the reason why we are a banana republic, is because we don't see the significance of what other countries are doing, even though we are being overrun. And then we want to sit back and talk about all this and all that. The situation with the shantytown, the disparaging remarks, the officers carrying out their duties is no different than what's going on in the States, whereby because of the abundance of migrants, you see the audacity in which they now display, and then we sit back and be helpless in our own state. But meanwhile,
52, those white people in Spanish Wells, that's where they was. They're not migrants. They Bahamians. I appreciate the points that you were making, 52. Especially when you say, look, and nobody is tolerating the exploitation of migrants. I appreciate your contribution. Let's go to the phone line, producer. We got tons of calls. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Erin.
Good morning.
And good morning, Crystal. Yeah.
Good morning.
Crystal, you related to Dawn Sargent?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Okay. All right, 2 quick points, Erin.
Yes.
The Shirley Street Wakes.
Mm-hmm.
That should be done in the night, man. 12 a.m.
They don't.
1 a.m. and thing, man. That's the type of time you do them lights, man.
And get out all the bright night lights. Get out all the construction lights so people will know what's going on.
Joe find it or bring with them big bright lights.
Yes.
And then the second point is, what the gentleman was talking about in Coal Harbor yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, I passed it a couple of times, right? But the hole fell so deep, I couldn't see water in it. But I had raining now when I passed late on street. But that's the issue what I have with that.
Okay.
The excavator there was apex pavement. So I thought it was a law that when you dig cesspit, when you leave cesspit open, you got to put them orange fluorescent net thing round the cesspit.
Yes.
Seeing that couple children and drown in cesspit.
Yeah.
They are not putting those things around those deep holes. Yeah, they're like 15 feet long, 10 feet wide, and from the road, I couldn't see how deep they are, but I could pull on the side of the road and look down on them. They're going deep on them so they could suck all the water off the road. Now, hard raining now. I'll pass there going into the weekend and see how it came on. But the fellas who doing that job, you all need to put that orange netted thing round those holes. And case car go to pull off the side of the road in the night, because they don't light on that road.
At all.
They end up in them holes, or children that fall in the holes and drown.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you. Crystal, we got another caller on the line. We're going to go to that caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Miss Greene.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
I want to say something about. I want to put the blaming game on the Minister of Immigration.
Okay.
Not immigration, Mr. Fred Mitchell.
Foreign Affairs.
The Prime Minister.
Okay.
This is what causing our country to have all these bad repercussions, because you bringing in people with no value of this country, people who can't help nobody. They come in. I carry on. I say that to say I carry on old lady by social service the other day to go do her business, and when I get there, more foreigners inside it than Bahamians. None of them can speak English, and they demanding the Bahamian people stuff. Why is this happening, Ms. Greene?
I think if you're looking for an answer, I think a long-standing administrative crisis. We've lost control of the systems. When they say that, like the Minister of Foreign Affairs, in his capacity as chairman of the party now, Fred Mitchell, in his capacity as chairman of the party, responds to the public in the media, right, to public concerns about immigration, and says, hey, I thought we told you all this. Y'all not listening. We have 3 big issues. We need more labor. We need to expand our tax base, and we need to expand our genetic pool, right? Because of the risk of replicating dangerous cancers like the BRCA gene, where all the women and some men get breast cancer, right?
Yeah.
That's what he said. But it's not enough to just say that.
Yeah,
if you're telling me that you are encouraging migration, then you need to tell me, well, what is the system in place to manage the movement of migrants in and out of the country?
Ms. Greene?
Yes, sir.
It is bad in this country when it comes to immigration, and the government seems like they don't have a clue. If you ask any living person in this country, we are populated with immigrants, and it's bad. It's so bad right now. You pull up by these fast food joints, and who's serving you now? These same people who can't speak English.
I can't get the job. I can't get the job.
And like our government is not looking out for Bahamian. Mr. Prime Minister, you could hear this one person voice. Please do something with immigration before you lose the election just because of immigration. And Bahamian people are tired of the immigration problem, and you're not doing anything about it, Mr. Prime Minister, because Mr. Fred Mitchell can't have no say over you. Mr. Prime Minister, I'm counting on you to deal with this immigration problem. Thank you very much, Ms. Greene.
Listen, you are welcome. Thank you for sharing today. But I want to correct 17 things. The cabinet is equal among equals, right? So technically he should. Secondarily, yes, something needs to be done with immigration. We all agree with that. The question is, what do we need to do? And I think we need to start by creating civil society organizations, right? We're not talking about witch hunts and vigilantes. We need people who can look at data and make sense of data to use it to formulate policy suggestions and draft legislation. But Crystal, I got 3 more calls on the board and about 12 texts. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Erin. Good morning, Crystal.
Good morning.
I've spent the past few days listening to just about all of the radio programs on Guardian Radio. And I'm going to tell you, I am very troubled, especially when I apply what is being said on the airwaves and put it out here into the real world. This immigration crisis, we all agree, or let me say, we most agree that with this immigration situation that we have going on is really the crux of most of the problems that's happening in this country. Someone said something very interesting a few moments ago, and, I really didn't think about it that way, but now it forces me to consider. We have, the Honorable Fred Mitchell says that we need persons to come in for the gene pool and but the labor component
and
all
the tax
stuff.
base,
The persons that come into this country, you can't just bring people into the country if they have nothing really to bring to the table. What quality of or standard of living do you want here? You want people to come here and help to build our country, not help to tear it down and leave it stagnant.
Okay, Jeff, great point. Hold on. Great point, right? Great point. Here's my thing, because I think housing is a great example. We have the law that says that the employer must show proof of living accommodations, right? Before the permit is supposed to be granted, right? Then when the migrant comes in, whose standard is it? It's our standard that they're supposed to live up to. And it's the employer who's supposed to make sure that they're living to that standard. And it's the Department of Immigration who's supposed to make sure that the two of them doing the right thing.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Well, the thing is here, obviously the protocols or the policies are not being followed as prescribed, not only by our Constitution, not only by our penal code, but it's obvious that these things are not happening. A lot of persons, and I'll close on this point here, which is very, very poignant. A lot of people look at Haiti as a poor country. Haiti is not poor. Haiti has more billionaires in it than the Bahamas has. And the add insult to injury, what really crossed my mind just now is this influx a plan to dominate the Bahamas by the millionaires and the wealthy over there using the poverty level to come and dominate so they can take over? Because if you look at most of the businesses now opening, you're going to find that the Haitians actually took over. The Chinese have taken over. What is going on in the Bahamas? We have to expand our minds and understand that we are being dominated. And the more you speak like this, the more they look at you as being xenophobic or whatever. This is a bunch of nonsense going on in this country.
Right. Okay.
We are losing the Bahamas.
Jeff.
That's all I can say on this. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. See, you make some sound points, but I think when we get into the cracks of them, right? Are we being dominated, or are we allowing ourselves to fall behind in a race that we started? Right? Are we being dominated? That's the first thing. We cannot continue to have conversations about Chinese migrants without acknowledging that there are people who are Bahamian and of Chinese descent. Now, I use the word Chinese here as nationality, right? I use it. They are Bahamians. Why are we having a conversation about Bahamian people as if they are migrants, right? This is a part of the problem with the conversation. Can you make a distinction between a person who is of Chinese descent, who is a Bahamian national, and who is a Chinese immigrant to the Bahamas? right? We get lost in the details, but the law is only concerned about the details. Crystal, I got two callers on the line, and I mean, I have 1,075 thoughts. Let's go to this caller, producer, and then to the text line.
I just want to say one. Erin,
Quickly.
Yeah, so I was saying, I was going to add to what you were saying, is that I don't think it's being dominated. I think we just need, it's a policy issue, like you said, and we have different types of businesses, and some of those businesses that are being operated, they need to be more scrutinized. And I think if that happens, then we'll see less of those type of businesses, and it wouldn't feel like a domination. It's just due to poor policies.
Absolutely. Can you
zoning and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you imagine if every system experiences the same dysfunctions that we've seen showcased in the police force over the last few days? Let me get to some texts quickly. Callers, I see you there, but the texts have been here from the top of the show. Erin, Cleaver started good early, and he really doing it now in his last comments, man. LOL. We know why the U.S. Embassy, what is there for Cleaver? We ain't slow. That's why that structure cost $300 million to me, trying to put the U.S. in the Bahamas over his own government. We know our government's slack, and the U.S. ain't no better. He might as well move to the U.S. and go move in the deep, deep South. Let's see if those racists down there like him. Okay. And we using you. I understand you using Cleaver's commentary, but you don't mean him generally. I mean, particularly, you mean people who share a similar sentiment. And he called in Iran and Somalia, where you have the U.S. trying to overthrow these countries because of their natural resources. Give me a break. But you can't mess with Russia, though. Nuclear power. Good morning, Erin. Please remind your listeners that the policy regarding visa suspension for Bahamians wanting to live in the United States resulted from Bahamians who have tried circumventing the U.S. process and laws. Our problem with illegal immigrants, while it exists and is out of control, is a local issue that our government has to address. One more text, and then we're going to go to the phone line. Good morning, Erin. The PM was traveling all over the world promoting the climate crisis. Immigration is a crisis in the Bahamas when he's not asking the U.S. world to help stabilize Haiti. Okay, texter. I am just...
We could chew gum and walk.
But not just that.
We could chew gum and walk.
I'm going to assume you have not been following closely what's been happening in Haiti. Okay, we're going to put the text down for a second.
The climate issue is related to that too, actually. All of that bleeds into the next one and the next. But yeah.
Right, because the migrants that are coming to the Bahamas are typically Haitian nationals who can't share in the Commonwealth of Haiti. The same way Bahamians here are upset that they feel that they can't share in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That's the irony of the imperialist strategy.
That, they have climate issues too.
Yep.
Yeah, they have climate issues too that exacerbate the problems they have and push them out.
Absolutely.
You know, like force them into these desperate situations
to migrate.
Yeah.
I got you. Producer, let's go to the phone line, and then we're going to get back to the text. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Erin, and your guest.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I am good, thank you.
You know, the problem I have with some Bahamians, I'm not going to call any names, right?
Mm-hmm.
Call every talk show talking about this immigration crisis and talking about what America is doing in their country. But have they ever lived in any one of those places except the Bahamas? You know, to see how bad it really is in some of those countries? Okay, I have. Okay, Ms. Greene. At the end of the day, there's a few callers every day. They talk about the whole population of Haitians, and the whole population of Chinese with businesses. But who we have to blame for that, Ms. Greene?
On us.
We have to blame for that. Because guess what? If the Chinese and the Haitians can come here and establish business, right? Why can't us who live here in the Bahamas establish business that...
exactly.
You know, so we have to stop putting the blame on others when we are responsible for what's taking place. Okay? Because at the end of the day, the Bahamian citizen is the government, okay? The persons in Parliament only representing us as head of state for us, okay? As far as, in Parliament, okay? So we are complaining without any solution. Most of those persons, I would say, from the early 80s, who were here in the Bahamas from Haitian descent, right, who were regularized, and those who were born here in the Bahamas of Haitian descent, you can't call them actually Haitians because they're born here in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, we have some persons who, and some persons who came illegally, yes. Let's get rid of them as fast as possible. But at the end of the day, we can't be degrading others who are the same as us. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you. Because that's what I'm saying. It's like the Bahamians who are most upset now are in the same position as Haitians. I'm not saying they shouldn't be upset. I'm desperately begging you to order and organize your thoughts and concerns into effective mechanisms. Let's go straight to the phone line, Crystal. They're dropping off. Good morning, caller. I come into your caller. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Ms. Greene. I would like to make a comment on something that was said on the airways that I thought is really incorrect. It's factually incorrect. The last caller was kind of like self-serving. I thought some of the things he said really was disturbing. What he means by who's responsible, but corruption is responsible, Ms. Greene, and lack of accountability and lack of freedom of information. But I want to say that as it relates to cancer and the comment that Mr. Mitchell was bent on, talking about gene pool, et cetera, et cetera.
Expanding the gene pool, right?
Yeah, but if you read, just Google what percentage of cancers are caused by genetic mutations or genes, and it's actually 5 to 10%. Now, whilst the ovarian cancer and the breast cancer has a higher rate of 15 to 20%, but that's still not proven. That's just something they put there. But what I'm saying is, you have oncogenes that they determine, when they mutate, they determine the rate of cancers. So you have external factors, but 90 to 95% are really from environmental factors, which in most mutations are, but they know this. So in fact, it actually says 5 to 10% of all cancers are directly hereditary. So the medical community is doing this to frighten people. It's really basically just a small percentage of cancers that are attributed to genes. So I mean, I just thought,
Thank you for sharing that.
One thing my tiny brain knows a little bit of science.
Thank you. Thank you, 52. Thank you for sharing that. All right, producer, I see the crystal the board just lighten up. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. You still... Uncle, good morning. How you doing? Yes, sir. Turn your radio down.
Okay. You got me?
Yeah, tell him turn it down, though. Don't just change the channel.
Yeah, sorry.
That song was sweet.
You're crazy on me now. Let me try to call back.
No, okay, GNN. It's always good to hear your voice. Let's go to the next caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Erin.
Good morning. How you do?
Good morning, Crystal. Erin, how do you spell
Good morning.
Ballin?
How do you spell what?
Ballin.
Ballin?
Gallin.
Oh, you spell it ERINGREENE. That ain't the correct spelling? Okay, the alternate spelling is GAULIN.
Okay, and vulture.
You
know the meaning of vulture?
I can't remember the meaning because I know how to spell it as ERIN, but I have a feeling you have a different meaning than the one I have.
No, one of the dictionary terms is a contemptible person that exploits and abuses others.
That ain't me.
Right?
That ain't me. Okay, go on.
That's a dictionary term.
Okay.
Right. Well, you see, when we have these politicians and these leaders that we elect that exploit us, right, and do these things that cost the country, then we have to know why we have these sort of immigration problems and all these social ills and these people coming in. See the models that America used and other countries use to let people in their countries. We have to look at all of them. I just say this because Blackmail explained last night on another show that smuggling bill that shows that all of these people coming in, and I think if you want to talk with him and get him to break it down for you, I listened to his commentary last night that told that smuggling bill gives any one of them to come in here on a clean asylum. You can't send them out because of human rights.
Okay, that's cool.
Laws.
Okay, but hold on. You know that legal position like that is available to migrants before the passing of this bill? That facility already exists in law?
No.
Yes.
That bill, no.
Anybody could come in.
Laws.
Yeah, anybody could come here and claim asylum.
No, I understand. No, see, putting that bill on our law book, that was just passed and put on the bill on the 17th of December because someone wrote to King Charles trying to get the Governor General do not sign the bill, but It was signed off by her on the 17th of December. A young lady explained that she signed it off on the 17th of December. What was the big rush for them doing such a thing? I want you to speak with blackmail so he could break it down and everything. Do it off.
I could find him at the Eugene DePuch Law School.
No. Listen to me.
I just asked if I could find him at the Eugene DePuch Law School.
I'm gonna call you offline later to see.
I just asked if I could find him at the Eugene DePuch Law School, Uncle. That's all. That's all I asked. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Madam Greene.
Morning.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
You Grammy boy. Sorry for that earlier. Listen, the problem, I agree with 52. I disagree with the caller before 52 because everybody knows he's politically motivated. People like them don't care if the country burn in hell.
Man.
He wouldn't be saying some of them. Some of them, he wouldn't care if that was the opposite.
That's rough. No. That's too rough. Okay, I mean, I appreciate what you're saying. But
listen, okay, let me close this. The problem is, I'm just going to real talk. I know you're all on the radio, you have a responsibility. As long as we're trying to be as little responsible as possible, we got to get the true information out, man. It make no sense to me hiding it under this way and hiding it under that. We got to try our best to get it out. The problem what we're having in the Bahamas is corruption, and we keep complaining to the people that caused the corruption for too long.
And you keep asking, and you keep asking them to fix the problem. You keep asking them to police each other.
Exactly. We keep going back to the same people who created the problem in the first place.
I got you. So listen, Uncle.
Yes,
because I hope you know you still Grammy boy and you still my uncle at the same time. Watch this.
Right away.
What are we actually going to do? I see, for me, it's quite simple. Getting on the radio and talking is not going to do anything. Getting in the street and occupying the street with no aim or end in mind is not going to do anything. When are people going to start organizing themselves into groups, mechanisms to do the work? Somebody got to write the notes. Somebody got to type up the document.
Yes.
Somebody got to serve the tea.
We need education. Education is the key. Article 24.1, it's time now we stop politicizing, colorizing everything in this country, and we start to turn to what works.
Here's the problem.
The Constitution.
Hold on. Here's the problem. Quote the provision in the Constitution again.
Article 24.1.
Okay, now go to Article 73.1a. See, you cannot just get up and say we got to end the politicizing without actually attacking 73.1a, which says that the Governor General must appoint, on occasion when the Governor General must appoint a PM, that Governor General must appoint the leader of the party that commands the majority of the seats in the House. The Constitution itself politicizes it, right?
Yeah.
And that's how they read it. And so you see what I'm saying? You on the right track, I on the right track. You got to get anybody who's engaging this immigration issue needs to get an organization, get it registered under the NPO Act, get a lawyer, not just one lawyer, get a legal team. And then hold on, here's the next thing you need. You need an income generating mechanism because any professionals that you engage in your campaign may experience marginalization, both professionally and socially. And so you need to be able to ensure the people who are working with you that you can take care of them and you can ensure that they can take care of themselves if they do experience marginalization or victimization from working with this campaign. We can't just cry. We want to see, let me tell you what the irony is. We sitting here crying like that we want a revolution, and we expect the Haitian migrants to be the revolutionaries, and we expect them to have the revolution and put themselves on boats and sail back in to gang-torn Haiti. Does that make any sense?
No, it doesn't. Education and not bastardization. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. You see, the gentleman quoted the Constitution. If people who say they have a social or political issue that they need to be addressed, my dear Bahamians, organize yourselves, your thoughts, your resources, and begin a movement. But just getting on the radio and rowing people for not having the same perspective that you have, I'm not accusing anybody of rowing me today, although it happens often, it's not going to be effective. So let's go back to the text line, Crystal. Oh, well, we can run through the text as the music plays. Erin, a car hit our truck and left the scene. This was right outside the Elizabeth Estates police station. The bumper came off the car that hit us, so we had their plate. We told the cop where he went. The officer told us no cars in a rude way and that we must clean up the wreckage of the car that hit us. Ms. Greene, I hope those 4 Haitian ladies were deported for stealing from meat markets, whether they were naturalized or permit holders. See, let's go to a standard. Is there listed in the criteria for having your papers removed that you are charged with a crime or found guilty of a crime like petty theft, right? If that's what the law says, and if that's what we want the law to say, then organize ourselves to say it. It says it would make sense for the record driver to take away vehicle parts as it may be useful in the case where repairs would be carried out and the part may be used. It took an army to remove Maduro. What would it take to pick up a Bahamian official? I don't know. You know how many police it take to pick up Samilo Butler and drag him out the house? You know how much police it take to pick up I'm going to call him Miyagi. Shenandoah Cartwright and Adrian White to move them out the house? It took an army. Erin, I know you will be insulted, but it's too many illegals. All I saw all Christmas was pregnant immigrants who couldn't speak any English. What will happen is overcrowded schools, hospitals, and everything, and they want to row you for your things, bring in a bunch of dirt poor people who will cause chaos. I mean, okay.
We are facilitating it though, Erin. There's a lot of Bahamians facilitating this whole movement of immigrants, so we can't ignore that elephant in the room.
No, not
also. Buddy said called earlier and they were talking about the border situation. Patrolling the borders is a heavy duty. We're already low on our immigration and RBDF
resources
officers.
And assets, yeah.
Exactly, and resources as well. The country is 95% ocean, everyone. It's got to be very hard to patrol. I'm sure we've been doing better throughout the years, and the Royal Bahamas Police Force and Defense Force have launched several joint and collaborative efforts to do better patrolling, but it is a task, especially when Haiti is constantly in crisis. And it's not just people coming from Haiti, they're coming from different countries too. Like immigration is a serious multifaceted issue.
I got you. Haiti's not just in crisis. There's a reason why Haiti's in crisis. Many of these immigrant construction workers are unskilled. They are all over the islands creating substandard structures that are somehow getting approved by, texted. I ain't calling that number. Hey! Good morning, Ms. Greene. To the person who said that the illegal migrant issue is a local problem and the U.S. visa suspension is a result of Bahamians abusing the system, they need to open their eyes. Fraudulent Bahamian passport holders were caught by the U.S. Go back to December 2024, where persons were charged before our courts. No, there are no fraudulent passports. I don't think we're fraudulent passports. It's a question of people who should not have passports having passports. All of the passports are good passports. They're in the hands of the wrong people. Oh boy, texters, I push in my producer. Now, some of these texts are inappropriate, people. Cannot read them. Crystal, you good?
Yes, Erin.
We all out of time. I could beg the producer, play that song by Monrovia so I could remind the people, if you've never lived through war, then moderate and measure your speech about it. Because some of y'all just playing war games and have never lived through this thing.
Do you see the man on the screen? Just a puppet, but you never see the strings. Calling it a war, not a genocide. Telling us it isn't what it seems.
You try to rest, but roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.